Okay, so welcome everybody to today's presentation. Just a few housekeeping things. If you just wanted to put yourselves on mute until the presentation or while the speaker is presenting, and then feel free, you can unmute yourself to ask any questions, or you could use the text chat if you feel more comfortable. So I think this is week 4 of the 5 weeks. And so we're happy to have you here joining us. And we're happy to have Steph back and presenting on this topic. It's a valuable topic that we've learned lots in the past few weeks. So we'll continue on here. So I just want to introduce Steph, just in case there's anybody new that's joining us and not sure. So anyways, Steph Desrosiers is a business counselor with PARO Centre for Women's Enterprise, where she supports women in building financially sustainable businesses through strategic planning, confidence building, and practical financial literacy. She brings a diverse background that spans corporate law, nonprofit finance, and entrepreneurship. Steph has worked as an assistant finance manager for a multi-million-dollar nonprofit, managed payroll and accounts payable for construction and service-based businesses, and built operational systems from the ground up. Her experience also includes corporate law administration, contract support, and business compliance, giving her a well-rounded understanding of how financial decisions impact both the numbers and the people behind them. Steph understands firsthand the challenges of cash flow, pricing, scaling, and financial confidence. Her approach is practical, empowering, and grounded in a real-world experience, helping women move from overwhelm to clarity and control. So welcome, Steph.
Thank you. Thanks, Lori. And welcome, Naomi and Gabriella. Thanks for joining this morning. We have a small group unless there's more that join, but that's okay. It takes a little bit of the pressure off of me. So today we are going to go over this series on growth, expansion, and strategic financing. So this is designed specifically for women-owned businesses who are ready to take the next step. We're going to give you practical, actionable tools, not just theory. The focus is on 3 key areas: how to grow confidently, expand strategically, and access the financing you need. By the end of this module, you'll have a clear roadmap for scaling your business. We'll cover real scenarios and solutions you can implement right away, and this is about giving you the knowledge and confidence to make smart financial decisions for your business. Okay, so we're going to walk through 8 key areas today that every growing business needs to understand. So we'll start with the fundamentals, what growth actually means for your bottom line. Then we'll dive into the accounting side, how assets work, depreciation, and tax deductions through capital cost allowance. We'll talk about your options for funding the growth, the different ways you can borrow, and what's available to you. We will break down the numbers on borrowing, like interest rates, how long you'll repay, and what that means for your cash flow, and show you how to forecast ahead and plan for different scenarios so you're not caught off guard. So we'll talk about how to budget for hiring and manage payroll as you expand. We'll make sure you understand the legal requirements when you're growing your business, and wrap it up with a practical example of what it actually looks like to open a second location and what you need to think through. Okay, so Lori did a great intro of me, but I'll just quickly go through a little bit more about myself. So I'm Steph. I'm a business counselor with PARO. My background is in finance. I'm not an accountant, so I always advise people to, definitely talk to your accountant and your lawyers about anything for your business, just to make sure you have that professional oversight. I was assistant finance manager for a multi-million-dollar nonprofit, which gave me a solid foundation in managing budgets, systems, and financial operations. I also have deep experience in business startups. I've helped entrepreneurs navigate everything from registrations and structuring to the nitty-gritty admin work that gets a business off the ground. And before joining PARO, I worked as a corporate law clerk. So I've spent years advising on business structures like corporations, sole proprietorships, and LLPs. And I know how important it is to get the decision right from the start. Outside of work, I'm a single mom of two boys, and I bring that lived experience into everything I do. I understand the balancing act, the drive to build something meaningful while managing life's responsibilities. I also love interior design, and I find conversations around personal growth really energizing. The kind that kind of spark new ideas and help us grow as people and professionals. So when I talk about financial readiness and entrepreneurship and growth and expansion, I'm bringing both professional expertise and real life perspective. My goal is to make these topics approachable, practical, and empowering for you. So what does growth mean for your business? Growth means different things to different founders. There's no one size fits all approach. The importance of there is an importance of it starting your business with intention before diving into the metrics and the numbers. So always having, like the why behind why you're diving into this business. Is it life purpose related? Is it to provide a service like fill a gap? Whatever the case may be. So there's three growth dimensions. There's new locations, such as physical expansion to reach more customers. There's adding to your team, building capacity through hiring and talent development. And then there is scaling to generate more revenue. So while maintaining your unique value proposition. Naomi, Gabriella, I'm sure you know about value propositions, but Naomi, do you have a clear understanding on what a value proposition is?
Yeah. Yes. Um, uh, yes and no, because I'm a realtor, and as a realtor, yes, I understand. But the business side, that I want to get into, it doesn't exist yet. So I haven't clarified what that is for my business.
So yeah, that's actually like a really easy template to kind of transfer. So in real estate, when you're going into a home, you're looking at, what value does this property have? Does it have, a garage? Does it have a hot tub? Does it have, all these different things that kind of add value to the property? It's kind of a little bit similar in business. We're looking at your value, what your value proposition is as an individual that explains why a customer should choose your product or service over our competitors. So it kind of answers three fundamental questions. How does your product solve the customer's problem or improve their life? What specific measurable benefit will the customer receive? And why should they buy from you instead of the person down the street? Does that make sense? Yeah, perfect. Okay. So growth doesn't mean abandoning what makes your business special. It's about scaling intentionally. So down at the bottom of the screen here, I have a little did you know? So women-owned businesses in Canada, 20.6% of make up 20.6% of the private sector, with nearly 1 in 3 reporting revenue increases in 2025. So that's actually like a pretty great statistic, in my opinion, for women-owned businesses. Okay. So assets depreciation and capital cost allowance. So right here, you'll see I have a little image of a camera. So that kind of represents equipments and tools that you may need to purchase to get your business going, especially if you consider, let's say you're a photographer, and in order to do your business, you're going to need to purchase a camera. So your camera, of course, they're very expensive, so they can depreciate in value over time, but your camera would be considered an asset of the business. And yeah, so depreciation, in simple terms, assets lose value over time due to wear and tear. So kind of every year you can have it set up so that your camera depreciates in value until it's down to zero. So other examples of assets would be like furniture or maybe even a vehicle, anything big like that that would depreciate in value over time. And then we also have capital cost allowance. So I does everybody understand what a capital cost allowance is? Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll just do a little brief explanation. So in Canadian businesses write off the cost of long-lasting assets over time. So things like equipment, vehicles, computers, or furniture. So instead of deducting the full cost of a big purchase in the year you buy it, the government lets you deduct a portion each year. It spreads the expenses out over the useful life of the asset. So that's where we talked about the camera depreciating in value over time. That would fall under the capital cost allowance. So assets like a laptop or delivery van don't get used up in 1 year. They provide a value for several years, so the capital cost allowance matches the tax deduction to that gradual use. So if you buy a $10,000 piece of equipment and the capital cost allowance rate is 20%, in year one, you deduct 20% of the cost. In year two, you deduct 20% of the remaining balance, and so on until the value is fully written off. So the key idea is that the capital cost allowance is a tax-friendly way to recognize wear and tear on business assets over time, reducing your taxable income a little each year. The CRA lets you deduct a portion of asset cost annually, which lowers taxable income. So there's a little bit of, benefit when you're doing your taxes. And each asset class has its own depreciation rate, so it's not like a one size fits all. So you may have a different depreciation value rate on a vehicle as you would on a laptop. So it's always a really good idea to track your major purchases throughout the year, and this creates a valuable tax deduction opportunity at year end. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so borrowing to grow. Financing doesn't have to feel like a burden. It's a tool to help you grow. The key is understanding what's available so you can pick what actually fits your business. So there are three kind of different funding opportunities. So there's term loans, there's lines of credit, and there's grants. So a term loan walks through a term loan, you get a lump sum upfront. You pay it back in fixed installments over time. I'm sure everybody's kind of at one point or another had a term loan, whether it was on a vehicle or even your mortgage. It's perfect when you know exactly what you need to buy. So like new equipment, a facility upgrade. The predictability makes budgeting easier. So that's kind of the benefit of term loans. A line of credit is more flexible. Think of it like a safety net for cash flow. You have access to money up to a certain limit, but you only pay interest on what you actually use. So draw when you need it, pay it back, and you can use it again. Excuse me. Ideal for smoothing out those months when cash gets tight. So that's kind of one way that you can, I guess, save yourself a little bit if things are tighter than usual, is you can dip into a line of credit if need be. But just be wary of that because it's always borrowed money. And if you're struggling already to make ends meet and then you're borrowing money, just make sure that you maybe you're waiting on invoices to be paid or things like that so that you can get your cash flow back on track. And then there are also grants. So these are like non-repayable funding opportunities. They're like the golden ticket. They're hard to find and they're hard to get, truthfully. So they're competitive and the application can be intense, but if you qualify, the effort absolutely pays off. So it's worth investing the time up front and looking into whatever grants may be available in your business sector. So, and just seeing kind of what's out there. And there is a grant finder. Well, it's more than just grants, but it's all government grants, and not just grants, but other funding opportunities through the government. I can get the link for that and put it in the chat. So when you are considering funding opportunities, evaluate which option aligns with your specific needs and timeline before committing to anything. Are we all good on that one? Okay, perfect. So interest, amortization, and repayment terms. So longer amortization, Naomi, you'll be very familiar with this kind of with mortgages and things like that. So longer amortization means smaller monthly payments, but you'll pay significantly more interest over the life of the loan. So, you know, maybe your financial situation this year is one that you can't, you know, you had to take like a 20-year term on a mortgage. Let's just use a mortgage as an example. You had to take a 20-year term instead of a 15 so that you could get your payments into an affordable range for you. But then, you know, in years to come, you're in a different financial situation. And so, yeah, like you always kind of have to assess it at the time that you're getting the loan. What is affordable for you right now? Consider that you're going to be stuck in that term. Like let's say you're acquiring property for your business, you're going to be stuck in that term for 5 years. Or if you're purchasing a vehicle, you're stuck in that term for the duration of the loan. So always just consider what is most affordable and just make sure that you're playing it safe. So there's 3 critical questions to ask yourself before borrowing. What is the total cost? Or ask the professional, I guess, not just yourself, but the professional. What is the total cost of borrowing? So that's the principal plus the interest. Are there prepayment penalties if you want to pay it off early? That's always like one of the smartest questions you can ask, because, you know, if you were in a situation where you could pay the loan off early, you don't want to be penalized for doing that. So just make sure that whoever you're acquiring the loan from, that there is no prepayment penalties. And is the interest rate fixed, meaning stays the same? Or is it variable, meaning it can change as the rates fluctuate? So $10,000 borrowed at 7% over just 1 year costs $383 in interest with $865 monthly payments. Just a little example there. So if that same loan were stretched to 5 years, the monthly payment would drop significantly, but the total interest paid would roughly triple. And compare the total cost, not just the rate of the monthly payment. So you have to consider kind of both. There's actually a lot of considerations when you're thinking about getting a loan. So these are probably the most important things to consider. So financial forecasting and scenario planning. So a forecast isn't magic. It's a practical tool to guide your business decisions. Think of it as a living document. You'll update as things change. So it's a 3-step process. There's estimated revenue. So look at your sales trends, the market conditions and growth goals. What do you realistically expect to bring in? Map your costs, get specific about what you spend, both fixed costs, which is like rent and salaries, and variable costs, which are like materials and commissions. And plan for scenarios. Don't just plan for one outcome. Model, your best case scenario, your expected case, and your worst case scenario. Kind of map out what those look like. Scenario planning is about stress testing your business. Ask yourself the tough questions. What happens if revenue drops 20%? And what if you win that major client? Being prepared for multiple futures means you're not caught off guard. The goal is flexibility and confidence. You're building a plan that works across different realities, not betting everything on one prediction. Okay. So hiring and payroll budgeting. So there's 4 main cost components to consider when you're hiring and budgeting for payroll. There's the base salary, which is what the employee is told that they're going to earn, whether it's annually, biweekly, hourly, whatever the case may be. Then there's also payroll taxes, CPP, and EI. There's an employer contribution for those. So every month you would remit to the government that you have this employee and you're paying the certain amount of CPP and EI and payroll taxes for the employees that you have. So that's kind of something that is not maybe well known when you're considering hiring. So it's just something to be aware of. There's also the cost of benefits and insurance if you are providing that for your staff. And then any training and onboarding, this one is widely overlooked, but it's also significant. So any costs associated with that. So a $35,000 salary actually costs the company $43,750 to $49,000 when you factor everything in. So there's the total cost of employment, and then you typically multiply it by 1.25 to 1.4, the base salary. And then this isn't just theory, it's what companies are actually experiencing. So, and many people underestimate these costs significantly. And then it just has a little source here that it came from Deloitte, that information. Legal foundations for expansion. So scaling without legal clarity is very risky. Legal foundations protect your business as you grow. And so there's 3 key areas. There's leases. Don't just skim these. Cover length, renewal options, and cost responsibilities. So if you are going to, let's say, be leasing a building, you always want to consider, are you paying utilities? What are all these extra considerations when you're leasing that property? Because you will be locked into those as well. Contracts, so everything important needs to be in writing. Suppliers, clients, employees, verbal agreements just create disputes. So always be smart and have actual legal drawn up contracts done. Partnerships. So you would want to have like a partnership agreement that would define roles, responsibilities, and exit terms in writing early before emotion and money complicate things. So I'm sure it's easy to understand that, if the business is doing very well, but there's conflict between the partners, that would create, a lot of difficulty in deciding how to move forward with the business. So having that done before the business is even really getting going can prevent all of that. A business lawyer isn't a luxury expense. It's an investment that prevents costly mistakes and disputes down the road. The cost of a consultation is nothing compared to fixing a bad contract later. Okay, so we got a scenario here, opening your second location. We're going to walk through the real steps needed to expand successfully. So before you commit resources, confirm there's actual demand in the new area. You're looking to expand to a different area, maybe you're in Southern Ontario and you want to expand to a different province, or Northern Ontario. Sorry, did you have a question, Naomi? Okay. So you want to always kind of do your research, do your homework, make sure that there's demand in the area that you want to expand to. You want to look at foot traffic, demographics, and competitor presence. So all of this, a really good practice to do if you are looking to expand. You may already have a business plan for your current location, but create a business plan for your new location, because that's going to kind of get you into the practice of going and looking for these specific things like demographics and competitor presence and foot traffic. Those are typically things that you would want to maybe include in your business plan. So, maybe you don't need a business plan because you're not applying for financing at this point in time, but just having the business plan can actually answer a lot of questions that you have about where things are going to go in this new area that you're expanding to. And talk to potential customers. If you're, let's say you have a vacation home in Northern Ontario, but you're from the South and you want to expand your business in the North, and, talk to people, find out, do you feel like there'd be a demand for this service or this product in this area? Most people, especially in like small towns, we're always, kind of interested in how we can grow. So, even just having those conversations kind of like gets a little bit of excitement. We had a little cat cafe open up around here, and they're working in conjunction with the rescue. So like what a really niche but like great business like opportunity for them. They're not only kind of filling a gap with the overpopulation of animals, but they have a little cafe, so they're receiving revenue from that as well. Oops. And then you need to get specific on the numbers. So if you know where you're going to be renting, have the lease, have the actual lease, know what your numbers are in terms of what your all-in costs for renting that location is going to be, including utilities and any renovations that you may need to complete in order to make the space suitable for what your business is. Any equipment that you need to purchase or staff that you need to hire, your initial inventory. Again, all of those things can kind of go into the business plan so that, it gives you a really like well-rounded overview of what this is going to look like in this new location. And then you would want to calculate your break-even point. So when will this location start generating profit? And be realistic, and build in a buffer for unexpected expenses because they always come up. So just be realistic with that. And then there's securing financing. So know your options. Do you have personal savings, bank loans? Are there investors interested? Match the funding source to your timeline and how much risk you're comfortable taking, and have your financial projections ready for lenders. So again, this is when you would need to have a business plan and your cash flow projections and your financials kind of in place, is if you are actually going to look for funders and funding. Plan your cash flow. So month by month projection is critical. When does revenue start? When do you hit profitability? Make sure your existing location can support the new one during the ramp up period as well. This checklist isn't optional. It's the difference between a successful expansion and a costly mistake. Any questions? Any more questions on opening the scenario of opening your second location? Okay, I just want to jump into some of our PARO programming that kind of aligns with this series. So one thing that I wanted to mention when I was talking about value proposition is if you are in that startup phase of your business journey, the She Rises Ready to Start a Business program is a really great program that PARO runs. I didn't include it in this slide. But it's our, entry-level program, and they go over the value proposition in more detail. So if you're kind of struggling with figuring out what your value proposition is, that would be a really great PARO program to take. In addition to She Rises, we also have PARO Launchpad. So Launchpad is PARO's entry point for early stage entrepreneurs who are still shaping their idea or validating whether their business concept is viable. It provides structured guidance on business foundations, market research, business models, pricing basics, and early financial literacy. Participants get access to workshops, one-on-one advisings with business counselors and BGAs such as myself and Gabriella as well, and tools that help them move from idea to actionable plan. It's ideal for women who need clarity, confidence, and a roadmap before launching. We also have PARO Connects. So PARO Connects is PARO's networking and collaboration ecosystem. It's designed to help entrepreneurs expand their professional circle, find collaborators, and access peer support. Connects events often include themed networking sessions, expert-led discussions, and opportunities to connect with mentors or potential partners. The focus is on relationship building, visibility, and creating a supportive network that accelerates business growth. We have Women in Innovation. This program supports women who are developing new products, technologies, or innovative approaches within their industry. It helps entrepreneurs move from concept to commercialization by offering mentorship, innovation-focused training, and connections to partners in the innovation ecosystem. It's especially valuable for women working on prototypes, digital solutions, or process innovations who need guidance navigating IP, testing, and scaling. We have Finance Her, and this is PARO's financial empowerment stream. It helps entrepreneurs understand funding pathways, strengthen their financial systems, and prepare for investments or lending. The program includes workshops on cash flow, pricing, financial statements, and funding readiness, along with one-on-one support to build strong financial foundations. It's designed to increase confidence and competence around money, which is a major barrier for many women entrepreneurs. We have our Biz Growth, which Biz Growth supports established entrepreneurs who are ready to scale. This program focuses on strategic planning, operational efficiency, team development, market expansion, and systems that support sustainable growth. Participants receive tailored advising, advanced workshops, and access to resources that help them move from small business to growth-oriented enterprise. It's ideal for women who have traction and revenue, but need support to level up. We are also here at PARO, the official Ontario partner for WEOC, which is the Women's Enterprise Organizations of Canada. PARO helps entrepreneurs access capital tailored to women-led businesses. These loans are designed to be more flexible and supportive than traditional lending, with a focus on relationship-based assessment rather than rigid criteria. PARO provides guidance through the application process, helping women strengthen their financial documents, business plans, and readiness for funding. And then we also have our Prosper Circles. So they are peer-led, community-based support groups where women entrepreneurs meet regularly to share challenges, set goals, and hold each other accountable. They create a safe, empowering environment for problem solving, brainstorming, and emotional support. Circles often become long-term communities that help women stay motivated, connected, and resilient throughout their entrepreneurial journey. So those aren't even all of the PARO programs, but that kind of would relate most to what we talked about today. These are the ones that I included to share. Any questions on any of those PARO programs? Good. Okay. Well, I guess you're ready to scale with confidence then. So scaling isn't just about numbers, it's personal and it's intentional. Excuse me. The three key pillars of scaling are to know your numbers, You've learned financial literacy. This is their competitive advantage. You'll understand your assets, your liabilities, and can forecast with confidence. You want to protect yourself, so legal frameworks and proper contracts. It's not about bureaucracy, they're just protection. So this foundation is very important and it matters. And trust your vision. Bring it back to them. Bring it back to your customer, what your vision is. You want to, says growth should be on their terms, at their pace, aligned with their values. I should have wrote this in a different person, but anyway. So yeah, your growth of your business should be focused on your terms, your pace, and aligned with your values. And now you have everything that I have to share about growth and expansion. Is there any other questions? Maybe something I didn't touch on, anything at all? Comments, concerns?
Hi, Steph.
Yeah.
Um, I I do have a question, but I don't know if my question is appropriate for this particular webinar. But my question is, I'm not like, as I said, my business doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
But I'm familiar with running a very small scale business. The revenue is like enough for one family to survive, kind of size.
Okay.
And I'm struggling with the idea that the business idea I have is too big for me to think in a realistic way,
Mhm.
because it's so big. And so how can I overcome that, like mentally? Okay, without knowing how I can finance my ideas, I can't even realistically plan my business,
Mhm.
because I don't know. But so I've taken up She Rises, and it's I felt that helped,
Yeah.
but didn't help at the same time, because the thing I want to do is um, it's just a large scale. It has to be large scale to start with, and I just don't know how to even plan.
Do you have a
Like,
business plan done up for it?
I not yet.
Okay.
It's just a idea phase. Just last week, I talked with the Mel Simmons, vice president, and she gave me some ideas, and she recommended I move forward with it. But she gave me some insights, but still, number wise, I just don't know how to plan. I guess.
Yeah. And I think that that's where, if do you have a PARO business counselor or BGA?
Yes, I
Okay.
have a business counsel. Yes.
That's where I think that you should work with your business counselor on really like honing in on the actual, like not the value proposition of the business, but like everything else, you know, that's where we can kind of like take a look at your cash flow projections and start really planning so we can kind of see where you're sitting. Can you afford to hire like from the get-go, right off the hop? Like this is this business the one that you said is enough for, I guess, to support like a small
It's
family?
completely different. That was a consulting
Okay.
business that we moved on. We're moving on to something else, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's honestly where I would start is because you're going to get so much information out of your business plan. And I think that that's where you're going to be able to like really see it on paper and start to go, okay, like this is where yes, I can afford to hire, or no, I have to wait, until partway through 2027 before I'd be realistically in a position to hire. That is where I would start personally, is with the business plan and the cash flow projections. And yes, and your business counselor can help you with that, or if you want to work with me on it like that, you're welcome to do that as well.
That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like once I have, a little bit more detail, because this is obviously recorded and I don't want to go into, specifics about your business, but I think once we meet, or you and your business counselor meet and have more detail about exactly what is going on in your business, then we can kind of really start to sit down and brainstorm ideas and, put the work in to create the business plan and see it on paper. That'll give you confidence in itself.
That sounds great. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, no problem. I will grab that link though and stick it in the chat. And I think Lori, we had a survey as well.
Yeah.
Naomi, if you wouldn't mind to complete a survey on this series.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat right now.
Okay. I'm just gonna grab and stop sharing. And bookmarks. Benefit finder. Okay, I'm going to stick that also in the chat, Naomi, if you want to grab that link. And just take a peek and see if there's any grants or funding opportunities that align with your business sector. Oh yes, Gabriella. In the chat. Maybe you did see that, Naomi. Oh yes, you did. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if there's no other questions or comments, sorry, go ahead.
I'm wondering if I can connect with Gabriela after this. I think I saw her at the event, and I know that we were connected through Instagram and so forth, but I was hoping to be connected with her after this, if that's possible.
I think you can ask your BGA. I am a BGA with PARO, Business Growth Advisor with PARO, but I think you already have a BGA assigned. So talk to your BGA to see if she's okay if you want to reach out to me. She will still be your BGA, but I can provide some input if you want.
Okay, thank you.
I don't want to take over the work of the other BGA, so that's why you need to go through your BGA and ask.
You know who your BGA is, Naomi?
Yes, Renee is my.
Okay, she's great. She's great. Yeah, no, she would be honestly.
You're in good hands.
Yeah. You know what? She would be one of the best people to help with the business plan. Like, she is really great.
Okay, good to know. Yeah.
My comment in the chat was, even before thinking of the business plan, you need to think about, do I want to start the whole business at once? Do I want to do it in phases? So think about the business that way, and then you, based on your decision, if it's phases or all at once, you will create a business plan.
Okay.
That sounds like a great idea. I think I
kind of brainstorming first, decide first, and then go into the business plan, because business plan needs a lot of information. And if you're not clear about how you want to build a business, it won't be easy to create a business plan.
Right. And I'm doing this alongside with my real estate career. So I think I need to do this in phases. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had thought of a question, Gabriella,
Yes.
but it slipped my mind now. It slipped my mind. That's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
You
Oh,
can
I think that's where it was. Sorry just before we hop off. So like the you took She Rises, like that was really great to kind of like, get I find that that program is like transitioning the mindset from employee to entrepreneur. And then you work on figuring out what your why is, like what is the intention behind it. And that's I think like that's Gabriella's approach is like really kind of work out the big answer questions. The why am I doing this? Who do I want to support? What areas am I supporting? Am I servicing? And then breaking it down like how Gabriella explained. I think that's a really good approach as well.
Yeah.
think of it in terms of what could be easier to start with and add the other things along the way. This is the phases I was talking about. Because
I
if you
see.
try to chew all the project at once, it won't be easy.
Yeah.
And you'll be overwhelmed. But when you
Yes.
start thinking about everything that you need, think about what I want to be with this business in 5 years or 10 years from now. Put that image down. I usually, when I work with clients, I create a mind map. Give me all the ideas, let's put them down. Then we look into, from all these, what you can start with. What's the next phase? What's the next phase? This is how you build that kind of timeline of the business, and then you go into the business plan.
I guess I need to do more research to know how I can start small, because the way I'm thinking is it just from the start I will need millions, and that's not going to work. And that's
It depends
just
what type of business it is, because I understand in the tech sector there are people who want to invest in tech businesses. So it really depends on the type of business you're interested in.
I'm interested in carbon offset business, and so I will.
Check the government, there might be some grants for that, because government has some grants or programs for sustainability. So do your research, what type of business you want, who can support you, who is interested in this. So you don't have to do everything just by yourself, but you still need to do the thinking first.
I see. I definitely need more thinking. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, when you are at the business plan phase, it will be more clear, but you need to do the thinking first.
Right.
Okay, this was a great presentation, great conversation that and ideas out there. So thanks, Steph. Thanks everybody for joining us today, and thanks, Steph, for presenting this. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to the next one, third week of May, which date-wise, I just want to be sure. I think we're looking at May 20th.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll Steph will deliver the final one of this 5-part series, May 20th. So we hope that you join us then as well. And if you have any questions, please reach out. And anyways, we look forward to seeing you next time. So thanks everybody. Thank you again, Steph, and wishing everybody a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.